All right. Looks like it wouldn't stream to X today. Or at least it says it's not. I don't know. Error starting stream. I don't know. Anyway, for those with me live on YouTube, thanks for still being YouTube. I like streaming to X just because it seems like people will catch it a little more live, and the numbers are a bit higher. But whatever, not available today, I guess. I don't know. I even tried to log in and log back out. Anyway, let's keep going. I'll share the link on YouTube later. Based on a couple people's feedback, basically I thought that I would do a part 4 and deploy. Now, as you can see here on screen, the site is not ready to go live, but we can still deploy it and just put it in maintenance mode. So I think that's what I'll do today in kind of this part 4. Again, it was kind of requested, and I think it rounds out nicely this whole thing, right? Because like we did from Laravel new to deployment. And there's dozens of different ways you can deploy. So I think I'll focus a little bit more on kind of what needs to happen to actually deploy than like the deployment itself, right? Because like now the big thing, Laravel Cloud, there's Forge, there's all sorts of things. For such a small site like this, I already have a server, for Shift, for BaseCode. I have all these little servers out there already that, again, existed kind of before, definitely before Laravel Cloud. Some of them even existed before Forge. So the point is I have self-managed hosting available. I'm just going to piggyback one of those today. So let's get this set up to actually go live. And then again, I need to change the images and the content and blah, blah, blah. But we know that once this form is actually correct, I'm able to just deploy, run a script, and it's live, right? So a couple things I noticed. First, when you actually go to the home page of this, it's no longer here anymore, right? So we need to make the order create page, this page, index, and then leave, order save and all that stuff on its own. So let's fix that first. Right now, this is just a resource. So I think what I'll do is I'll probably just split these out into a GET request to home that effectively will be now it's a tuple instead of a resource of order create, right? And this we can still piggyback the naming, and we don't have to do a lot of changes here, so we can just call this name order.create. So all of the rest of our code should be fine. And then to bring store back to life, let's basically just pop this. That'll be a post. This will go to post to order, I believe. Order is what it should post to. I think so, yes. Order/create and then order itself. We could just go view source here and make sure that's right. Oh, composer run dev reloaded me. Oh well, let's fix this. Okay, so post to order, this will go to store, and that'll go to store, and then of course by PHP, the laws of PHP, we need some semicolons there. Okay, so and now we should be able to get rid of these. In fact, real quick, let's just check that I'm right. Kill this, PHP artisan route list. So right now we have order, which goes to order.store here. And then we have order/create, and then we have all the other storage stuff. So if I remove this and do the manual get and posts there, and I redo this, now we have order create under / we have order again, order store, good, and then the rest are exactly the same. Cool. Okay, so we fixed that. So now when we do composer run dev, this page should no longer exist, and this page should be our create form. Perfect. Okay, now the reason this matters is basically I have the website already, basecodefieldguide.com. Now, Laravel is a little bit weird with deploying into subdirectories. You can do it with some magic, but I remember when I did it a long time ago, it's a little difficult. You have to remap some things, and you have to kind of set the config and do some web server level kind of stuff. Again, you can do it, but I don't think it's very well documented. I remember it being a little bit of a pain. So what I'm gonna do is just do print.basecode.com. Now, of course, this doesn't exist. We'll probably just go to some weird Cloudflare page or just eventually time out as no name server. But I want to go to print.basecode.com. So the point is, this will be a subdomain that when you go to, the home page of that subdomain, it should just show this, right? So there you have it. That should fix this. That's why we're doing it instead of underneath order. We're just going to do it right at /. It's just a top level landing page. You can buy straight from there. Okay. Let's talk. So we have it set up to actually deploy the code. Now again, this page isn't correct looking, but technically you could buy something through Stripe. It's not gonna complete your order all the way, but technically you could make a purchase. Now again, we're gonna deploy this, put it in maintenance mode. We'll verify it looks at least the way it looks here, but then we'll throw it in maintenance mode. So what I want to do next is I think we actually need to deploy it. Before that, I want to think about the services of the application. The services of the application, we are using cache. I think this server that we deploy to has Redis. So I guess my point here is I want to go to .env. What I have is a .env.prod. And again, this isn't run through Cloud or Forge where you have a little bit cleaner of a web interface of environment. You can manage environment variables through their web interface, with a little bit more of secrets that get deployed to the server. Again, this is just kind of a self-managed server. It's private, it's locked down. So I will put, I'll rotate these keys and do all that stuff. But what I want to do here is basically for now, just tweak some of these things to be what the production server will look like. So first of all, we will use SQLite. That's fine to use. Session driver as the database. Broadcast connection log, that's fine. Local disk, queue connection, database. All this is fine. I don't even think I have queues. Cache store. We could just leave it database, I think. Oh, can you not? I think we're using locks. Let's read this. Laravel.com. I remember reading something about cache locks. I think only certain drivers allow it. Let's see here. Okay, data. Okay, so to utilize this feature, you must be using Memcached, Redis, Dynamo database, pretty much any of the cache drivers as the default cache driver. All servers must be communicating with the same central cache server. This is such a small application, and what I'm thinking is, do I just leave everything the defaults? Do I just leave everything database and just use a little SQLite database? Or do I actually leverage the available service on the system, which would be Redis? Do I want to leverage Redis here? Or do I care? I don't know if I care that much. Let's see what happens with it. I don't think I've used cache store database. We were doing it in dev, obviously, because this is just copied from dev. So let's just leave it. I don't know why it wouldn't be production ready. I don't know. Maybe they say that somewhere in the docs. I don't know. Let me know in the chat. But I'm going to leave all this stuff database. I think the main takeaway here is the database connection is going to be SQLite. And I think for production, you want to optimize SQLite a little bit. And I know Nuno has done this before. So another thing too is let's actually change this to print.basecodefieldguide.com. Okay. So this is all, and let's change this to production or prod, and let's change this to basecode. And for now, we'll leave debug true to make sure everything gets deployed. I'll change that here in a little bit. I think this is fine. Everything else should just kind of be automatic. So let's close that down. And then Nuno, okay. Laravel, Nuno, SQLite package. I think he made it a package. Yes, Laravel optimized data. See, I've looked at this before. What is this? Laravel optimized data. This package is a work in progress, therefore you should not use it in production. Okay, great. This package creates a simple way to optimize your SQLite database in Laravel. It's a good starting point for production-ready SQLite database. It applies the following settings, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Via the migration, applied at runtime via a service provider. Applied via a migration. To get started optimizing yours, you need to run the following command. At this point, the runtime settings are applied automatically. However, you need to run the migration to apply the migration settings. To start, db optimize. Does he make this command? Source. Commands. Oh, okay, he does have the db optimize command in here. What does this do? Publishes the latest database optimization migration. Oh, he just calls a vendor. Okay. The following settings will be applied. Okay, so he just maps out a table and then he runs the migrations. I'm just trying to think, like, do I need all this, or do I just need to take his migration and publish it and then I can kill the package? I feel like I could just take his migration and publish it and kill the package. Like, does this need to be in production? How does he recommend this gets installed? He has it as a production. It seems strange. Once you make the migration, wouldn't you never need to run these commands in production again, so to speak? To get started. I know this is a whip, but I'm a little confused. We're just going to do it their way. Let's do it their way. All right, let's kill this. Let's get this in. There's his thing. I really feel like this could probably just be a dev package, and then once you publish, you could actually get rid of the package. I don't even know why this is a package, to be honest. All right, let's run this. Make sure to back up your data. Okay, so this, if we do a get status, see, we have this migration. Now it's been published, and it will be part of the database in production now. There would be no need to ever run this command or even use this package ever again. So that's a little odd to me. Let's add database. Let's do composer, or sorry, let's do this. Clear. Let's do get checkout composer star. I don't think we need that package anymore. All right, let's get rid of this. I think we're good enough to go to production now. We're going to use SQLite. We've optimized it as best we know how, which is from this package that Nuno streamed about, which I believe are settings from Aaron Francis's course, his database, his SQLite performance course. So I think these come from a good place is the point. So I want to add them. So let's do git commit -m deploy to prod. Cool. All right. Next, let's actually deploy. Let's actually deploy stuff. Okay, here's what I need to do. To actually deploy stuff, we need to do two things. Let's get rid of this and this. To actually make this live, I need to make the subdomain, and we need to deploy the code. I think once we make the subdomain and deploy the code, that's going to be good. So here's what I'm going to do. Pretty sure this is managed through Cloudflare. Let me sign into Cloudflare's dashboard, go to the right screen so I don't leak a bunch of crap again, and we'll get this added. Let's do that first. And then that way, while DNS is propagating for the 5 or 10 minutes that it takes, we'll deploy code, and then hopefully we'll be able to see this screen at this address, right? That's the goal, of course. Okay, so let me get back to my stream. It's gonna be full screen me for a minute. Apologies. All right, cloudflare.com. So we will log in. What are we doing here? Let's log in with the correct stuff. Okay, it's full screen me. All right, just double checking because here comes LastPass. last time, if you weren't watching, I went full screen me. I did all the right stuff in the background, and then I didn't close the window that had the tokens. And then I popped I popped a screen share back, and I was right on the screen that had the tokens. I forgot to close it. So I rotated the keys. It wasn't really a big deal, but it was just funny that I got it right, and then I got it wrong. All right. I am a human. Log in. All right, let's make sure we're going to the right spot. Okay, seems like we're going to the right spot. Let's close LastPass. All right, let's go to, is BaseCode Field Guide here? Ooh. BaseCode Field Guide is not. What? Why is BaseCode Field Guide not on Cloudflare? It's blowing my mind. I'll need to migrate that. BaseCode Field Guide is not on Cloudflare. Okay, that means it's still with the registrar. Oh man. Okay, who is that? All right, let me look this up. Sorry, I should have checked this before jumping on live stream. Okay, this is an old one, so I bet you it's like with like Namecheap or something. Hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. Let's bring good old LastPass back up. Find the right place for this. Where are you, BaseCode Field Guide? There you are. All right. What is this called? There you are. Okay. Boom, boom. Password, sign in. Don't make me 2FA. Ugh. Okay, hold on. Where's my... Oh, I'm in Do Not Disturb. All right, 25261. Oh, I'm not even on the right screen. All right. There we go. Okay. 2FA'd. Are you in here? Domain name. You should be in here. Oh, I always hate this console. Their portal is so terrible. Just, where are my effing domains? Where are my domains? There they are. There they are. Oh my God, exit. Okay, exit, exit. Manage DNS, here we go. Here we go, now we're cooking. Manage DNS, where are you? Manage, add new record, fine, here you go. Add new record. What are we gonna make? We are gonna make, I guess we're gonna make a CNAME. Yes, 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 yes. That's what needs to happen. We need to make a CNAME that goes to the server. Print. What is this? Or is it a CNAME? Print, is it print? Yeah, there we go. Value, no wait. Print, how do you do? Ugh. I'm getting like bounced around everywhere today. All right, I think this is correct. It's been a while since let's save that. Okay, it's got another 2FA, this time with email. I love that. I love that it's like, one's a text message, one's an email. Okay, where are we here? La 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 la. Okay, where are you? You are here. Let's go here. There it is. Thank goodness. All right. One-time pass. Okay. Close this. Close that. So many things are open now that I could just... I should have done this before. But I want to be thorough. I want to be thorough of like showing all the stuff. Okay. I'm going to close this. I may need to come back here and change this because I don't know if I added that record correctly. This isn't... I don't understand like Namecheap's interface. I've moved everything to Cloudflare since... Like I said, these are all very old sites, and it's why I don't like... That's why I don't have access to... Okay, oh, hey. Oh, actually, it looks like it's working. It's saying not a private connection. Okay, so it seems like I did it right. We're going to need to... Okay, we're going to need to add like a cert for this, so that's something else we can do. Okay, let me make sure everything's closed. Sorry for that tangent. Okay, let me just make sure nothing is on screen that can leak, because these things are not as easy to change. Okay, I don't think anything's on screen to leak. Let me come back. No more full screen me. Sorry for the delay. I should have logged into that beforehand. But again, wanted to be thorough. Let's go here, maybe? Here? There we go. Okay, we're back. Okay, so if we look now, you can see it is attempting to resolve now, and we're getting a not private connection because we're not actually... There's no cert for this, which we can do with this with certbot here in a little bit to get a free cert. Okay, so subdomain's been added. Took a minute to figure out because again, this is very old. This is very old domain. It's one of the first things one of kind of my first courses. I think it was my third course. It wasn't my first course. It was first or second for sure. Or sorry, second or third. Anyway, next thing I want to do is again, this is on an existing host. Kind of piggybacking the fact that this is old. Kind of like Shift. Like Shift was written 10 years ago now, right? Almost 11, actually. In the fall, it'll be, I think, going into its 11th year. 11 years ago, you know, you're talking about like Laravel 4, right? These things were very, very fledgling. They're not as popular as they are now. Laravel itself's not as popular as it is now, of course. But things like Forge, Spark, you know, Vapor, you know, Laravel Cloud, even Cloudflare. Yeah, I mean, not Laravel related, but Laravel Cloud, definitely. None of these things existed. So some of these older sites are still on just simple DO boxes. And I bring this up because we're not going to use Forge or any of that stuff. I actually just have this simple little deployment script that deploys the repo files, bundles them up, and just old school, you know, 1999 web development of rsyncing this up to the server. So step above, you know, FTPing files, but basically the same concept. We pre-bundle the site. I throw, you know, we're basically deploying straight from the Git repo. So I make a little version text file based on the SHA of the last commit. So I kind of know what's in production, right? I don't necessarily tag things like v.6.7. I just kind of put this out there so I know this is the code. This references the code that's out there. This lets me know kind of the changes between what's in prod and what's currently in staging. So again, this is all just bare metal, you know, super simple, old school deployment. So if you're watching this and you're a new dev, you're probably like, WTF is this stuff? If you're an old school dev like me, you're probably also laughing, but in like a nostalgic, fun way. So anyway, again, this just checks what's out there and basically deploys this straight to, you know, this web server that's available for BaseCode. So I copied this. I did copy this before this deploy script from the current BaseCode project and then added printed. This is wrong. It is print.basecodefieldguide.com. So here's what's going to happen. We're going to rsync this stuff up there. Basically take the files that are in the current thing and exclude certain things. So exclude GitHub, exclude storage, exclude node modules, vendor. Don't send up any of the stuff that's like not necessary for like a bundled production site, right? So composer lock, all these other things. Now exclude the deploy script itself, exclude tests. We don't need it. Exclude the PHP editor file. Exclude Git itself. Again, it's not. We're not doing a Git pull on the server. That would kind of be like the next level, I think. But I like just being able to deploy like a bundle, so to speak, of the project. So that's what's going on here. Now, this very first bundle, we actually do need the storage folder because it's going to set up the Laravel folders underneath. So let me get rid of that. And then we do need, again, this bootstrap cache folder initially, right? The rest of the stuff we definitely want to exclude, but initially we want to publish the storage folder and the bootstrap cache folder. Another thing too is I don't really do SQLite stuff very often, but we're going to want to exclude that as well after the first deployment, right? We're going to run migrate fresh seed no matter what in production. But do we have any seeders? We'll have to see if we have seeders. I think we could actually go ahead and get rid of that, to be honest. Let's exclude database.SQLite. We would never want to deploy the local version up. Now, if you were using SQLite in production and you were following any kind of deployment similar to this, now again, this is a pretty old school deployment, I would probably go so far as to have this, be named like production, just so you never ran the risk of like overwriting the default kind of values, right? And again, this is all just a super simple configuration, but for now, I'll throw this in exclude as an example of kind of how this will work. So if we go to, if we basically just run sh deploy, we should effectively get all of the files of the application synced up the very first time. And then we'll add those exclusion bits back and we can run it again as a demonstration and it shouldn't send up anything effectively. So let's see if this works. So it's going to build for production. It's going to send everything up. Now this includes the storage folder, which we can clear out here in a second, but notice that this is the entire application, right? It's skipping the env files. It's going to send up some other stuff. There's more we could take out editor config. There's more we could clean up here, but I'm not going to worry about those too much right now. Here's all of our app stuff. We saw Vite up there. We get our migrations. It didn't send up the actual database, so that's good. Sends up our factories. We could ignore those too, I suppose. So there's opportunities to clean this up. But the point is, if I run this again, it'll still build everything for production, but it actually doesn't send any files up, right? There's no changes that were made in the application. So this is just an example of how this simple little script sends up the latest changes to the server, right? Now, of course, this isn't set up completely. We got to go to the server and actually run like artisan migrate fresh and all those things. So that's what we'll do next. I need to sign into the server, but before we do that, I don't want to forget excluding those other things. So let's bring back to life. Well, I think the easier thing to do would just be to copy this and revert this line to include storage and bootstrap and then bring in our exclude database. So if we run this again, what did we kill? Why did it send everything up? Oh, I just put it in printed again. That's why it sent everything up. But notice it didn't send the other stuff. Okay, let's go back to print. I reverted the line and I forgot the printed thing was changed. Okay, so hopefully this sends nothing up. Yeah, perfect. All right, nothing's up there. We put the exclude back. So let me go full screen me again real quick just to sign into the server. And then we'll see if we can get the page up and running. So let's SSH up into web. Let's go to the web root for that. So let me get rid of that printed one real quick. All right, cool. And then let's cd into print. Okay, and then let's ls la. Awesome. Okay. Let me go back to me. That was a lot easier. Let's go back to just me now. Okay, here we go. So we are on the server right now. Just a simple little, I don't know if this is Ubuntu. Again, it's just a DO box image that's dumped out. Oh, here you go. Super old school. CentOS, look at that. It's probably like CentOS 8. Okay, anyway, what do we have here? Okay, so next we need to start setting up the application. So first things first, I have this env prod. What I like to do is ln-s.env.prod.env. Okay, that should bring in, Oh wait, what did we do here? Did I do this backwards? Cannot stat. Wait a second. Oh, ls, sorry. What's the symlink? What's the symlink? Is it, I have it in this thing. What is it? Did I get it wrong? ln, sorry, link dash s. There we go. All right, now we should see a symlink to the env file. Okay, so env is going to point to prod. That allows us to change it, again, locally, deploy it, and it doesn't kill our env file. So we should now be able to run PHP artisan commands. Oh, of course, we need to actually install Composer. So composer install --no-dev. I think if you really wanted to build like a legit bundle, you would run Composer just like we did in PM and then push just production Composer files. Now, the reason I don't do that is, again, this is an old box dedicated to BaseCode Field Guide. I'm going to move it over to Cloudflare now that I know it's at Cloudflare, so that'll kind of take care of that. But because it mismatches my environment, the PHP versions and all that stuff, I just run this in prod. Again, the site's not live yet. It's not going to be updated. This thing's going to live a very short amount of time, and then I'm going to blow away this box. So, oh, I don't have my commands either. Okay, so now we have that. So now we should be able to run PHP artisan. Great. Let's run PHP artisan key generate. Yes, I'm in production, I know. So this will rotate the production key. Good. Okay, so we rotated our production app key. Now we want to run PHP artisan migrate. PHP artisan migrate. I don't think we have any seeds. Let's run yes. Okay, good. We don't have the SQLite database. It's going to ask us to create it. It's under database.sqlite. Again, I think if I were doing this on a larger site, I would probably change that name just to avoid any craziness. Yes, let's create it. Okay, it ran everything plus our optimization. Cool. So, theoretically, we're getting a little long in the stream here, but theoretically, if I go to advanced and I go here, okay, yes. Again, this is BaseCode's server, so the default web server or site to serve on the web server is BaseCode itself. It just defaults back to there. Now it's giving us a warning because it's trying to go to print, which doesn't have a cert, and that's not the cert that BaseCode, it doesn't have a wildcard cert for BaseCode. So we're seeing BaseCode site, again, because this is BaseCode's server, web server, old school, and we've deployed here. So what I would need to do is I would need to add a site to the web server for print, and I think we would at least be able to see our site without cert, without an HTTPS cert. We're still going to get this SSL non-secure warning, but that's a single little bit here. So now's a good time to point out that, again, there's a lot of steps here to deploy this, even though I've kind of refined it for myself for this old school server. Like, look how many steps are involved in deploying a site. This is where things like Forge and Laravel Cloud are worth the money, because I probably just could have clicked a button in there and this all just would have been live with the cert, with the environment variables, secrets and deployed, and it's bundling, quote unquote correctly. No downtime, right? I mean, when I'm running Composer, I'm having downtime potentially, right? Because I'm actually changing files in the production, on the production site, in the production folder, right? So anyway, little tangent there, but that's why that stuff's worth it. All right, let's go back full screen me. So I can change the web server configuration on the server, which probably is going to require a super user. So let's do that. Let's see if I can do that, and we'll end there. I'm not going to worry about generating the cert. So let me go. What is this even? What even web server is this thing running? CentOS is probably running freaking Apache. I love it. All right, where is it? Okay, cool. Let's copy BaseCode field guide to print BaseCode field guide.com. All right. Let's Okay. Let me edit all the names here. Okay, this needs to now go to print, 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 and we need to probably temporarily copy this stuff out. All right, and then I think this might do it, although I'm gonna have to bounce the web server. So let's do that too. It's a little bit scary to old school restart the web server. It's thinking about it. It's thinking about it. Okay, it supposedly is restarted. Hey, okay, hold on. We might be. Let me make sure. Let me make sure I'm not leaving anything up on screen. Let's go back to the safe print BaseCode folder, and let's run this. Okay, why does it keep saying this? Variable name 1 cannot start with a digit in the. What the heck? Do I have something weird in? Oh, I do. Yeah, I do. That's strange. All right, let me fix this real quick. Oh, sorry, I'm not sharing my screen. Let's share my screen. I think we're in a safe place to share screens. Let's go back. Here we go. Okay, so it's actually up now. We're getting a failure because we deployed a bunch of local view files that don't match the the keys and so forth, the checksums for those files. The other thing I noticed is there's a route. When I tried to clear cache, there's a route that's weird here. And we saw this in development, but I kind of ignored it. But for some reason, I think I hard-coded this once so we could have like orders match up when we were playing around with the site a couple streams ago. So this actually should say order. It should be a placeholder for route model binding for the actual order. So that's not one, which was hard-coded before. It's order. So that's strange. Either a typo or something. So we go back to BaseCode print master, and now, hey, here's a chance to redeploy the web file. That's what we should see. Okay, cool. And then, oh, I shouldn't be redeploying .env.prod, so I'll have to fix that. I just put the key back to what it was. Whoops. All right. Anyway, let's go back to the web server, and let's cd var www print.basecode. And now we should be able to run, this is kind of like this little site optimizer. There it is. This just clears everything, caches everything, modifies some of the permissions for the web server. So now, oh, it still doesn't like us. All right, let's see what's wrong with this. I bet you this is just some stupid web server web user permissions thing. Let's fix this. What is this called? Hold on a second, I've got a script for this. I think it's in the old BaseCode site. Let me find it. Here it is. Yeah. Scripts. I don't know what the web server runs as on here, so let me just rerun this command. Here we go. Yeah, there it is. BaseCode field guide, a bunch of changing of groups and changing of permissions for folders. Here we go. Boop, boop, boop. All right, let's see if this gets it, and then I'll share screen again. All right, where are we? Refresh. Select star from sessions. Okay, hey, we have a good error here. Let me share the screen again. Let me close this. Oh my goodness. My Mac is about to take off. All right. Let's see. We're very close. We're very close. Let's see here. You know what? I need to edit. Hold on. I need to edit. Where was our migrate fresh? Okay, migrate fresh. It has a cache table, but okay. So here's what I'm gonna do. Let me just edit the env file directly, real quick on the server. It's complaining about the session database. I don't want to share the app key, so let me just, or well, I guess I gotta rotate it anyway. But let me change this to file real fast. Let's sh optimize. Again, let me refresh. I thought we just fixed that. ls-la. Unable to open. I'm getting an unable to open database file. Select star from cache where key. It's like it doesn't like the. Did I even make the database? Cat. Or not cat, let's ls. Database SQLite. It's there. It's there. What's wrong with you? Oh, hold on. I think I know what's wrong here. Let me check this. One last thing. I normally just use MySQL, but I was just trying to use easy stuff for Laravel 12 out of the box. I think I know what's wrong here. I bet you it also needs web server permissions. I bet you since the web server is attempting to access the file of the SQLite database. Yes, I bet you that's exactly what it is. Here we go. There we go. All right, let's see if that got it. No, it still doesn't like it. Still doesn't like it. Is this let me just try to run SQLite against the database. Does it actually have these tables? .help. How do you see the tables? .show, no. .tables. It has cache. Select star from cache where key. Unable to open database file. I'm getting an let's see what the web says about unable to open database file. I guess I can share my screen again. All right, let's see here. Unable to open data. It's saying unable to open database file. Let's see what's going on here. Django newbie mistakes. That's me. Perfect. I'm not Django, but the problem is your database name is set to database file. It's full path, and database file is writable, but you still get, okay, so solution, make sure, can also write to the parent directory of the database. SQLite needs to be able to write to this directory. Oh, I see what it's talking about. Okay. I see what, yeah, that makes sense. I think this is a permissions thing because again, it's a really old box. Okay, I'm gonna try to change this based on this answer real fast, and then I think I'll just have to call it quits. Okay, because the file's there and the database is there, so that's good. Let's just see if this is right. Is this right? Yeah, maybe. Yeah, okay, I see what's going on here. All right, let's try this again. Let's do this. And let's do this and see if that gets it. Let's see if this gets it. If it doesn't get it, then okay, there's something about Now it's something about the insert statement. Let's just do this. I'll come back to this. I don't want to spend a whole stream debugging. So let's do this. Let me just set the cache driver for now to array. And I'll see. I haven't used the cache store database before. So there's probably just some setting I'm messing up here where like something needs to be prefixed or I have to set another connection or something about it. I don't know. I haven't used it in a while. I'm just going to make cache store array for now, which is simple and silly. And let's just see if we can actually get the page to load. Okay, so now the problem, it's loading, but now the problem is, I bet you, yeah, because of the cert, it's not actually going to load the style sheet. Yeah, that's the problem. Yeah, here, I'll share this screen. Okay, so it's loading now, but because of the cert, Chrome's killing loading the assets for Tailwind, the CSS file. So yeah, I think there's still, here's the point. I think there's still a lot to do here. Hold on, let me make sure I didn't leave anything up. Yeah, okay. I think there's still a lot to do here. So here's what I want to do. I probably should have done a few of those things pre-stream, but the point is that I wanted to make sure, I wanted to demonstrate like deploying this because that's what people asked for. Now, I think we've seen proof, and again, I said this, 10 minutes ago, but I think we've seen proof of why some of these pushed up button deployment services are so worth it, right? I mean, I've spent 35 minutes setting this up, and it's even a box that I've set up myself before. So while I did have some scripts and stuff to do it, like I'm running into common problems, whereas like I would have just been able to press a button in Forge or Laravel Cloud. So if you're actually going to deploy a site, especially one that makes money, go check out one of those services. If nothing else, the pain in which you've seen me experience for the last, 42 minutes are proof of that. Good evidence. But anyway, for now, let's do PHP artisan maintenance. Is it maintenance mode? PHP artisan. What is this? Oh, it's down. It's not maintenance. It's just down. There we go. Sorry. Okay, so PHP artisan down. All right, so now if we go back here, again, it's going to grab. There we go. Server's unavailable. Okay, cool. I didn't customize the message or anything, but Laravel's giving me a down. Well, no, 50. Is that the default now? 503? I thought 503 was a timeout. Or is it server unavailable? I thought 503 was a timeout. HTTP 503. Server's unavailable. No, that's fair. That's fair. Service unavailable. Okay. I thought it was like a server timeout, not a service unavailable. Okay, so that's probably this is probably the default screen. Okay, so I'm gonna leave it like this. Here's what's left to do. I need to make the cert. I think that's actually gonna make the site show up, and then I need to go back and figure out why SQLite is not happy interacting with the web server. Again, it seems as though from this article it's a permissions thing, but I still have like all the images and all the stuff to do. So I'm not gonna do a part 5, but the point here is that like it's all set up. Once it's all built, I'm basically just gonna be able to go back here and run sh deploy once I have that page, and there it goes, right? And it's all gonna be live. So I'm gonna leave this in maintenance mode until I get the certs and stuff figured out. I'll take it out of maintenance mode for a minute just to make sure the database and everything's looking good. I'll probably do like a test flow, and then I can rotate the keys for Stripe, and it's live and ready to go. And then I'll share it. I'll share it in my newsletter probably first. So if you're not on that, get on that if you're interested in getting one of these. And then I'll of course, share on Twitter, maybe an hour later or something. But there's 30 copies of BaseCode. I'll sign them if you choose that option at checkout. And deliver them at Laracon or ship them. I'm going to look into shipping. That's the other part of that form. So we'll see. But anyway, thanks everybody for joining on this old school fiasco of deploying yourself to a web server. See you next time.